Chapter 23. Wrapping up the story. So, we have covered a lot of ground on our journey. However, we haven't yet asked, what about consciousness? I believe that consciousness is the energy, frequency, and information field, and we are all connected to it. All knowledge is available there, if we can learn to tap into it. Have you ever mulled over a problem for hours without a solution, and then, being distracted by something else, you leave the thought aside? Suddenly, after a few hours, or maybe the next day or so, an idea pops into your head, from nowhere it seems, and within that idea lies the seed of the solution. Where did that come from? I believe that what happened there was, you sent that problem out into the vacuum of creativity, the field, where the solution was waiting to be found. How did it get there? Was it there as part of a collective consciousness? The frequency of your question matched with the frequency of the answer, and they connected. If you are not receiving answers to your questions, change the frequency of the question by rewording it or ask it from a different angle or perspective. The answer may come to you as a thought, directing you as to where to look for the answer, a book or website, or you might meet someone by chance, and they happen to mention something that leads you to the solution. It can happen in many ways. It's the same process for meeting someone you want to meet, finding the job you are looking for, answering a difficult question, or solving a problem you are having. That is why I can say with confidence that what you are looking for is looking for you. However, you do need to know what it is you are looking for. This is the place where creativeness lives. First, you need clarity as to what you are looking for. Be specific in your details. Be clear in your mind why you are looking for it. See it in your imagination and associate an emotion to it. Then it has a chance to find you. The better the clarity, the more details you add, and the more emotion invested in it, the better the chance of being connected. I used to ask, how can I get connected to this vacuum of consciousness? Until I realized that I am already connected. We all are. A better question is, how can I learn to be consistently aware of being connected to it? That information brings responsibility with it. You are responsible for your life circumstances, and you are responsible for the love, respect, and wholeness that you feed into the vacuum too. Being truthful, forgiving, and grateful are key elements. You are the creator of your life, not a spectator. As we have seen throughout this book, the challenge is to get our mind and body into sync. Knowledge is for the mind, and experience is for the body. Your character is the outworking of these. The more you become conscious of the process and start to understand the staggering amount of your life that you run on automatic, you will slowly find ways to regenerate the old cells in your brain and also build new ones. You start to realize the many facets that come together to make you who you are as a personality. It is possible to neurochemically condition your mind and body to work as one. Getting your actions to follow your conscious thoughts and controlling the feelings they generate will offer you a freedom unlike anything you have experienced before. You will be signaling new genes in new ways and writing your biological program. Imagining, thinking, understanding, feeling, being, and doing. This is the cradle of creativity. New things will happen for you when you believe more in the story of your future than you do in the story of your past. All thoughts carry an energy and a frequency, and they are directly connected to the tracks that your life runs on. So we are constantly dealing with data input from our senses. How we relate to, analyze, and understand that data plays a huge role in our journey through life. What are the factors at play in how we deal with that data? The mechanisms that humans have evolved in how we deal with data shine some interesting light onto this subject. Imagine you are walking through a forest, and a movement or sound attracts your attention in the bushes around you. It might be something that you can eat, or it might be something that can eat you. You now need to decide to run or investigate. Your decision, while only based on a good guess at the start, could lead to a dramatically different result. As the data gets stronger, more information to make a better judgment comes in, and we can make better decisions. Our inbuilt bias makes us more likely to see things that are actually there, rather than to imagine things that are not. However, in the absence of that visual data, our very survival depends on making a right decision based on the selection of possible outcomes. Our minds are constantly checking for patterns of data and accept making errors on one side in relation to getting it right when it really counts. We have a data list of what's important built in from growing up. Some are hardwired in our DNA, some are the things our parents told us to be fearful or aware of, and some are our own experiences. For example, we could be engrossed in work or conversation when our senses unconsciously detect a smell of smoke, and a data alert cuts across whatever we are doing and makes us consciously aware of it. So, whatever is on our list of data alerts has a direct access to our here and now. Our experiences growing up has a big part to play in the forming of that data list, and a large part of that list was put there unconsciously by us in our first 7 years. The trigger that opens that list to our here and now and demands immediate action is our emotions. Those emotions are individual to us, which is why, as I said earlier, we can find ourselves in the middle of an emotional outburst that seems to everyone around us as being out of context with what is going on. A lot of our triggers will be different to the people around us. These emotional outbursts can cause people to give us labels, such as, he's an angry person, she cries at the least little thing, he's afraid of his own shadow, etc. And unfortunately, as a result of that, our ability to navigate our environments can be hampered, and our lives reduced to the sum of our emotions. Imagine living your life in a forest if your primary reactions to any movement around you were fear. Your ability to function on any constructive level would be negligible. This relates back to Chapter 7 and the cornflake story. The changes we make to improve our lives must take place on the inside. Changing our environments of work, home, or country won't affect our emotions because we bring ourselves with us wherever we go. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. It is our self-image which builds our character to deal with life. What about our perception of certainty and uncertainty, or fact and probability? How we feel about ourselves is the bottom line when it comes to our journey through life. It affects every decision we make and every avenue we pursue, and our reaction to every event that we are part of. It is our process of evaluation, our method of value judgment, our perspective, our goal setting, and choosing our desires that are the most significant keys to our behavior. Your estimate of yourself, your self-image, is of life and death importance. At some point in our life, maybe 3 a.m. some morning, at some deep inner level, this fact presents itself to us and we become acutely aware of it. Quote, "The quest for certainty blocks the search for meaning. Uncertainty is the very condition to impel man to unfold his powers." Erich Fromm. We all feel the need to have a positive view of ourselves, and we appraise the truth of our circumstances with some justification in order to evade judging ourselves adversely. This usually means blaming someone else for the situations we find ourselves in. However, if blaming others for our plight is our go-to solution, then we are doomed to continue our lives in desperation. While it can be quite complex to piece it all together, our self-image has 4 primary interrelated aspects or components. 1. Self-confidence. Having low self-confidence makes it hard to try new things or reach for new challenges. Anxiety is a natural result that holds us back and causes us to cling to the familiar things we do or have confidence in, like a job, relationship, or living situation. 2. Self-worth, low self-worth, undermines what we are willing to do for ourselves. Are we worthy of another person's attention and love? Are we deserving of receiving good things? Do we have enough to offer other people so that they might value us? Having low self-worth prevents us from believing in ourselves and from claiming what is ours. 3. Self-esteem. When we have low self-esteem, we walk through the world in a one-down position. We operate from a place of, I'm not good enough. Everything that happens in our life is filtered through that deeply held notion, even though it is definitely not true. So even mundane interactions, once they go through that filter, can end up hurting us. 4. Self-knowledge. How well and how accurately Do we know ourselves? Can we predict how we will act or how we will feel in certain situations? Are we aware of our own strengths and preferences? Are we standing in our own shadow? Low self-knowledge makes it hard to make good choices for ourselves and hard to believe in the decisions we make. We cannot see past the choices we don't understand. Self-image is a sense of personal efficacy, the ability to produce a desired or intended result, and a sense of personal worth. The integration of the four components gives us the belief that we are competent to live, worthy of life and love. We develop the confidence and the power to make up our own minds, and the inbuilt ability to accept correct mental functioning or disperse mental fog. What we need is a way of deciding if our chosen method of reasoning is correct or not in relation to reality. We must make decisions that allows us to live and believe in our mental capacity to choose right methods to navigate the world around us. Those decisions decide the path our lives will take. Awareness and understanding where our values and beliefs come from is critical to this. However, let's decide what reality is to us first. Reality is how we see the world. How we see the world is a result of our understanding of the data we are receiving from the world around us. Our understanding filter, or method of understanding or perspective, is formed from our beliefs and values. Do you have the inner confidence to say, "I have faith and belief in the ability of my mind to think right thoughts"? That's not to say that we can never make an error, however. It is a belief that our cognitive functions are working with us and leading us in the direction we have decided to go, which we believe is the correct way. You are judging yourself by some set of values. That judgment decides what you are and where you are going. If you are not where you want to be, you need to reassess the current set of values that you hold about yourself. Do you consider yourself worthy of being what you can become? What are the deep-rooted blockers to that ideal? What are they based on? In order to accept satisfaction and happiness in your life, you must first accept that you are worthy of them. We make ourselves worthy of living the life we want by first making ourselves competent of living such a life. This starts by discovering what is true and what is right, and by producing actions accordingly. Worthiness and competence are interlinked. This process starts with a desire to understand. Comprehension is accessed by a desire to understand more than any level of intelligence. Sometimes a child who has been raised with parents who made irrational rules or constantly changed their expectation of how a child should behave will shut down their cognitive rational ability because it all seems too confusing. Gradually, he gives up any hope of making sense of the world and resigns himself to living with the permanently unknowable. This will become a barrier for that child in their future to rationally figure out the world they live in and find their place in it. He is too young to figure out that his elders were irrational people whose motives he couldn't grasp. He knew that they should know more than he does, but he sensed that there was something wrong with them, with himself or something. What he feels is, "I'll never understand people. I'll never be able to do what they expect of me. I don't know what's right or wrong, and I'm never going to know." So long as that child keeps his questions coming and has a desire for answers, he will keep his mind intact, however. There is a price to pay for freedom from this prison. As he pulls apart the pieces of his life that he has figured out don't belong in him, he will inevitably also pull down some of the structures that have held his life together. This might seem fine since he is freeing himself from the tyranny that has held him captive. However, he now finds himself in the desert, a place where he needs to rebuild his life. Where he gets the information to start that rebuilding process is critical. He is now vulnerable to all kinds of philosophy. A solid foundation of values will help him identify the building blocks that will allow him to evaluate each piece as he chooses it. This process necessarily introduces certainty and uncertainty, success and failure, joy and fear. It's a challenging journey, but also very rewarding. When a person's self-image is finally built on values that are true and in line with the desires and wishes of the person, he will be a strong, courageous, and worthwhile member of his family and the society around him. The last word. What distinguishes man from all other species is his ability to reason, to extend the range of his awareness beyond what is immediately in front of him, and to extract, integrate, and grasp principles, and apprehend reality on a conceptual level of consciousness. We have the ability to reason and ponder things that are beyond our immediate stimuli. This is the starting point of understanding. Life is motion, and our survival is dependent on our actions inside and outside ourselves. When we form values because of our thinking and understanding, these will lead us to experience certain emotions and situations. But are we rational or emotional beings? That is actually a wrong question, because how we deal with our emotions is directly related to our ability to be rational or not. Are you motivated by a desire for happiness or to minimize pain? We contemplate our lives from within a framework, a point of reference, from which to view ourselves in relation to the world around us. We decide on our position in life, and that viewpoint becomes our self-image. Our behavior and motivation are directly affected by that conclusion or value judgment. Our values direct our words, actions, and the goals we set for ourselves. It affects our range of ambition, our choice of friends, our social engagement, and the interests we pursue. Emotional responses are often automated. Emotions are not tools of cognition. What we feel regarding any fact or issue is irrelevant as to whether our judgment is true or false. It is not by means of our emotions that we apprehend reality. We make an appraisal of any situation according to our value judgment, and unfortunately, that might not be based on any truth other than what we believe to be true. What comes out of our mouth reveals what is going on in our emotions, and since our words are creative, especially with the power of our emotions behind them, we create the world around us, for better or worse. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, and our emotionally charged words have the power to bring life or cause pain. As I mentioned in Chapter 8, logos is a word associated with the principle of divine reason and creative order. It is the spoken word that changes chaos into order. When we speak out positive, life-giving, emotionally charged thoughts with belief-filled words, it can bring order into the chaotic, muddled, and confused parts of our lives. When we bring our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, and the power of our words together, we can directly and immediately affect our reality. I'm sure you can remember a time when you said something to someone in the heat of an emotion that caused you to create a mountain in your life or remove one from your life. And once spoken, it can be almost impossible to undo the effects that those words bring to our lives and the lives of others. Don't we know that this is true? On average, we have the ability to speak around 130 words per minute, and we're doing that to ourselves all the time. Try not thinking of anything for 60 seconds. Even try to focus your thoughts on one specific spot on the wall in front of you for just 60 seconds. Did your mind wander? Did thoughts that are completely unrelated to the spot on the wall run through your head so fast that you couldn't stop them? That was you tuning in to the incessant barrage of self-talk that is always going on all the time. You are just not consciously aware of it. For people who realize that they spend a lot of time speaking negatively to themselves and want to stop doing that, they will discover that trying to plant positive thoughts into their mind on a continual basis to overcome the negative thoughts is just about impossible. So, what can we do? First, we need to understand that our mind does not think in words. It thinks in concepts, images, and emotions. As you will have often heard, a picture paints 1,000 words. So when your brain has an image in it, it's worth 1,000 words. However, since you can only manage 130 words in a minute, it's impossible to overcome that image for any more than a fraction of a minute. What we have to do is create new images, positive ones, clear ones with lots of details and emotions of who we are. That is, the future you in the present tense. We must see ourselves as we want to be, in the here and now, and we must believe it. It takes time, but when we have that image, powered by an emotion, we can now play by the same rules as our mind. We now have an image to replace an image, rather than trying to replace an image with a small number of words. Remember, our mind does not think in words, it thinks in concepts. Start by writing out the details of your positive image, the person you want to become. Write it in the present tense. Picture you in your mind, what you are feeling in your new life, what you are wearing, driving, where you are living, the friends you have around you, the great feeling that you have no financial concerns, that you are generous with your wealth, loving to those around you, and being loved by them. Feel that warmth in your heart. See yourself being relaxed, smiling, and confident. See yourself doing something you love to do and that you are particularly good at doing. Hear yourself saying to your partner, "Wow, I'm really enjoying my life now," and feel their respect for who you have become. Does reading that alone get you feeling great? Do you feel the real you on the inside jumping up and down saying, "Oh yes, please, let it be so"? It does feel great, doesn't it? So, is it not worth persevering to accomplish it? Tell the yes buts in your head to get out. Their time is up. They've had their way for long enough, and it's time for them to go. As I have said many times throughout this book, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Get into the driving seat of your life if you have been a passenger. Speak your new life into existence. Speak order into the chaos. What have you got to lose, other than the current way of life which you may not want anymore anyway? Go for it, stick at it, and I can promise you this one thing. What you are looking for is looking for you. Come out of the shadows and let it find you. Now I can tell you that what you are looking for is the real you. And not only is it looking for you, but it is longing to meet you. The you that is looking for expression and exposure. The you that is looking to bring your purpose and uniqueness into the world. You are a wonderfully unique person regardless of your history. In fact, because of your history, and when you discover it and let it out, it will completely change your life and bring incredible power to it. Everything made or created, including in nature, has been designed to fulfill a specific purpose, even though it may currently be used for something different. What is your vision? Maybe we need to rearrange that to, who is your vision, or even, who are you in your vision? When you turn the last page on the story of your life, will it have been a fantastic journey? Will it have been a beautiful love story? Will it have been a wonderful story of exploration and discovery? Or will it have been the unsolved mystery that it began with? Ultimately, it will have been the story you had been telling yourself all along. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Your vision can be and should be your story, a story of love and adventure. The last page should be the conclusion of a life lived on purpose, and for a purpose, whatever that looks like for you. Someone is going to tell your story on the day that you leave this world. What story do you want them to tell? You can write the headlines and all that follows. Yes, and you can start today. Write to me and share your story, even better. Tell me how you changed your story. I would really love to hear that. I may not have met you yet, but I believe in you and your value to the world you live in. Believe in yourself, grow your character and your imagination of who you are, then you will change your world. Thank you for your company on this journey and for being part of my story. Jim Bulger. Quote, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know that place for the first time." T.S. Eliot. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with success unexpected in common hours. Henry David Thoreau.